We all finished, and we all did come up running.
Well, that, yes.
You only got a medal if you crossed the finish line.
First ever Ostra.
Is it a participation medal?
It was, 100%. It was the first one I was very proud of. In grade school, I hated those things, and now I was like, and yeah, this may become an annual thing now.
Whether
You weren't big.
No, I hated it. I had more stupid white ribbons than anybody.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is 4:30. I would ask that you would please rise if you are able as we stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have roll call, please.
Brad Hinn.
Here.
Tom Eggers.
Here.
Pete Hamill.
Here.
Chantel Ostra. Here. Jeff Wagner.
Here.
Next item up is the approval of the agenda. I'll take a motion for that to approve it.
So moved.
Or,
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wagner.
Yes.
Ostra.
aye.
Hamill.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hinn.
Aye.
All right, moving into the public forum portion of our meeting. Is there anyone wishing to address the council at this time? Seeing nothing, no written comments either?
None.
Okay. Then we'll move into the consent agenda. I'll take a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Hamill.
Aye.
Ostra.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Hinn.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Moving right along, old business, subpoint A, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Sheldon pertaining to the organization of the Library Board of Trustees. We have that changing it from a 6-year term basically to a 3-year term is the gist of the ordinance. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have support for that?
I will support that.
Any discussion or comments? Roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hamill.
Aye.
Ostra.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Hinn.
Aye.
All right, item B is the resolution approving an engagement agreement for the bond and...
Just a second. Just a
One
second.
question.
Is that the first reading?
That's okay. I wondered.
That's what I was taking it as.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I don't see it listed as a reading, that's why I was just assuming it was an approval.
It's intended as
Well,
first
doesn't the
reading.
ordinance have to go to 3 readings?
Correct.
Okay.
It's intended as a first reading.
I'd make
Okay,
the motion to waive the second and third reading of that library ordinance.
Support.
any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hinn.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Ostra.
aye.
Hamill.
Aye. All right, then on to move, item B there, which is a resolution approving engagement agreement for bond and disclosure council. This would be a first reading of that as well then, I assume?
If I might.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution that was continued from March 4. At that time, we were discussing some public works TIF bonding and also some emergency services non-TIF or general obligation bonding. It was continued unchanged from March 4. I'd like to go through some recommendations real quick. There's roughly $580,000 to $600,000 pending that might be adjusted depending on the situation with the trade-in of the Durango, which is no longer a trade-in. It was recently totaled, and so we won't have quite that level of expense, so perhaps it could be reduced. But overall, you really have 3 options. We could proceed now with financing. I've done some research and believe we can find an attractive rate outside the formal bond market. keeping the funds local. We can have that in place towards the beginning of the fiscal year. Number two, wait and see how tax increment financing or urban renewal sorts out, and couple the emergency services notes, the non-TIF part, with that to save financing costs, which we've done before. Third is to pay all or part of it from cash, which sets back the balances. So those are the three options. The agreement might need to be changed to accommodate it, but that's an easy change to make, and it may have to come back to consent. But if we could just have some direction, that'd be great.
Sam, I have one question.
Yes.
The police car,
Yes.
I thought we had replacement value on that, so why would we have any cost on replacing the police car?
Chief, can you help me with that? I was asked yesterday, and I saw you this morning, and I forgot to ask you. So I don't think we have replacement cars. It would be about $20,000 to $30,000. Oh, yeah, Larry would be.
Sorry, off the hook, Eric.
The only vehicles that are available for replacement cost are fire trucks and ambulances. Any passenger vehicle, police vehicles are not available for replacement costs under ICAP.
Any other questions for Larry while he's up there regarding this matter? We will see you later. All right.
So it would be a lot easier paperwork, cost-wise, if we would do something locally, finance locally,
I believe it would be.
and cheaper. I just wonder if that's a route to go.
Yeah, if I might.
Yeah.
So when we did something similar 6 years ago with $650,000 of notes, we still had Ehlers handle the hearing part for us. They did the paperwork on that, and then we financed it locally under debt service or general obligation. That note is now paid off, and we have a placeholder in the budget, so it wouldn't change the levy, but it would be new debt. The levy would be reduced slightly if we didn't do this, but previously there was some of the equipment we already have. So
How long are we financing for?
we're looking at probably a 5-year amortization schedule.
So I'm going to speak to the timing. Here again, and it'll be coming up here on our agenda again soon. A discussion we had at the last meeting in regards to the new tax bills, or bill that came through on the state level. I am still personally more comfortable waiting until we hear from the state exactly what the impact's going to be. So if we don't need to expand at this moment, I would wait the next 30 days. I'd ask that we wait the next 30 days until we hear from the state exactly what the ruling is and how, and at that time, define what that looks like across the budget period. So I would be more in favor of just tabling this until we get that information back from the state.
Sam, what are we spending on the, with Cooney to do the,
I'd estimate maybe $3,000.
is there any reason not to wait?
Well, you've already expended funds on fire equipment, and that's been paid for from fire capital, which has been run down, to a lower level. But ultimately, that's a policy decision for you to make.
I agree with Tom on waiting to see where we're at for the next 30 days. We have nothing to lose if we don't need the cash today. Do we?
And we just will table everything that's on the agenda tonight.
Well, it has such a large impact in regards to how we are going to finance our budget for next year. And that's not to say that we won't be able to. I'm just saying is I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. And until we have an answer of what the state is requiring, and if we don't have to expend over the next 30 days, then I think it's just good prudence in good government to just wait until we do know. That's my position. So.
Where do things stand currently as far as TIF is concerned at the state level?
So to separate this out a little bit, the questions on TIF, this is non-TIF, but to directly answer your question, here's what I know, is that TIF has been preserved. The older urban renewal areas, we can still use that increment. There are other cities that are canceling rebates, but it's not because of the legislation necessarily disallowing rebates. It's because of the 2% caps, and for much larger rebates, that has an impact when that TIF is ultimately released. The other impact of the legislation, as we know, Mayor, that there's 2% caps. Pete and I were on a call last Friday with the league, and there was a lot of concern about the impact on what the homestead exemption increase would do to the general fund levy, and so that's what we know so far about the legislation. It was omnibus legislation that affected both TIF and the general fund levy.
Will we have a better picture in the next 30 days, as Tom is talking about?
Yes, I reached out to Department of Management yesterday and was informed that by June 17, he has a presentation that he has to do, and so it would be done by then. Right now he is in Ames. Right now he is working on implementing the budgets. He recommended that I talk to the League of Cities and have their guidance. I'm estimating we'll have their guidance within a week or two. The League of Cities and Department of Management work very well together and talk to each other. So I believe we'll have really good information from the League of Cities, which is spending significant resources on attorneys to go through the legislation, and they're using some of the same attorneys that we use, which is Ehlers. So we can let them pay for it.
So is it fair to say then that the state's going to adopt whatever the League of Cities comes up with for interpretation of the new bill? My guess is no. So we're going to have to wait until the state speaks
not
to it.
necessarily, but yeah.
So
they're usually in synergy.
Right.
How many dollar difference are we talking number 2 versus number 1, just proceeding with local financing? Thousands and thousands of dollars, or a couple thousand? Or is it hard to say at this point?
Well, given the size of the note, it's probably thousands either way, and not a huge amount of money. But some of the information I receive is we could receive a rate that's higher, a little bit higher than the amount that we're currently receiving on our balances, which is the federal funds rate minus 0.45, so it's about 3.21. And so if we're paying a percent or so above that, and we're getting money on the underlying funds, it's basically 1% money, right? So then you don't have to pay the higher level of bond counsel, or TIF counsel, for the extra work of going out to the bond market. And for a larger note, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, but for a larger note, like a TIF note for, let's say, $2.5 or $3 million in public works projects, you would want to go out to the probably to the market for that, because they handle all of the compliance issues and question. It's just a lot more work involved. But we have a model that we've used for this before, and it's worked pretty well, but because at the time, remember, we were looking at doing the TIF bonding, coupling this with that made a lot of sense because you're saving money on fees, even though they're separated out in the amortization schedules and how they're paid.
So now I'm really confused.
Yeah.
We save money if we do both of them at the same time, the PAPE and this one possibly. So, but we don't know what we're doing with the PAPE one yet because we don't know what the TIF is going to do. So wouldn't it then make sense to wait to hear what the TIF interpretation is so that we know what we can do with the PAPE land to do them both at the same time? Or, you know, I think that's part of my question. The other part is that I think what Tom's saying is based on what happens with TIF and the rulings, we don't know what we need to do with cash versus what we need to borrow. And so that would give us clarity on that. I think going locally makes sense to me, but I just don't know about the tying the two together and how we're going to spend cash. I don't know how we decide that at this juncture on this. So if you could explain that, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, thank you. The coupling the TIF and the general obligation before made a lot of sense. It still makes sense, depending on how long you want to wait, because we're in a waiting game on TIF. You're not in a waiting game as much on the general obligation emergency services notes. But we had some equipment come early. We've already expended those funds. The question is, do you want to pay back that fund or not? And it's a relatively small amount that you're saving by coupling them. It's just that we've coupled them before, and now that you're delaying one, you then have to decide as a matter of policy if you want to delay the other, which is the emergency services piece, which is not TIF.
So now that you've presented us all the information, what is your recommendation?
Well, my recommendation is if you prefer not to have spent down your balances, that you proceed with authorizing the emergency services notes locally and decouple it from TIF. But I completely understand where Tom is coming from.
So we're spending down cash balances. Is that something that keeps you awake at night?
No.
Okay. So the balances are,
It was one
Adequate.
fund. Chip, Brad, and I chatted about it, and that fund is actually set to receive more money from Moss this year. And we had planned to do this bond to reimburse that fund. The only thing that's really being lost right now is that fund not receiving interest.
okay.
And it just will hinder us down the road when it comes time to put the next down payment on another vehicle in 3 years. Because we put 110 down payment on top of that.
Mhm.
So,
But we're not saying that in 30 days we wouldn't
No,
replenish
that's
that. We're just saying we don't know whether we should tie it together or whether we're going to have, what it's going to do to our cash reserves.
Well, to help move this along, I'll make motion that we table this until we get the official position from the state in regards to the new tax codes, and then address it at that time.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have
When you
support
say-
for that?
When you say table this, how many items are you talking about?
Right now, just the item we're talking about right now,
Which is?
the resolution approving the engagement of bond disclosure counsel with Ehlers. So,
Okay.
then you might as well table the rest of the stuff because the rest of the stuff is all TIF.
Well, it doesn't mean we can't talk about it.
right.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
There's nothing in this next section that's taking action. It's pretty much an update.
Brett, I feel your passion on this, and I don't understand it. So could you help me understand why you
So
feel
if
we
we're-
need to do
if
it
we're-
now so
If
that,
we're tabling this one because of TIF, then you have the TIF revisit. We should table all that. You have the park master plan, which you're going to use TIF, so we should table that. You have Children's World, which is probably urban renewal, probably some TIF. You have Crossroads Pavilion Storage Unit, TIF. You have Beck Engineering Incentive, TIF. You have Rides, which is tax instrument, TIF. Economic Development, TIF.
well,
So it's just my 2 cents worth.
but if we don't have the money, if we don't know, how do we have the money? How do we borrow money that we're not sure, or spend money down here if we're not sure we're going to have?
That's true. So that's my point.
But we can still talk about them so we were more prepared for when that ruling
Sure,
comes,
we can
couldn't
talk
we?
about it, but I think if you're going to take action, you got to table it like we are right now. So that's my comment.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for continued discussion. We really need support for that. I don't think we have that yet, correct?
You're not.
Okay. Does anyone care to support the motion that Tom made? If you want to hear it again, I can have Ange read it. I'm going to rule that the motion failed due to lack of support. So then we come around again. What's the next step? So the question is, if we decide that we're going to approve the engagement agreement, then do we come back later and decide where we're going to actually finance it through, or is that the next part of B?
No, yeah.
Yes.
So your financing would be through general obligation, and it would be to basically replace the small levy that's falling off from the 2019 notes. So there isn't really a funding source. Might be a few $1,000s for the agreement, but I would probably need to bring back a new agreement if we're doing just this. So then that would be on the next agenda for approval, because we continued this as is, and I didn't change anything except adding an explanation.
But the resolution only approves bond counsel and the engagement agreement.
Right.
You're not
That's all
actually
it's doing.
picking that
Yeah.
route.
That's fine.
That's correct.
We're not expending the money, we're just taking the first step.
So then, is there a motion to approve that resolution agreement?
I would move that we approve the resolution approving the engagement agreement for bond and disclosure counsel with Allers County.
And is there support for that?
I'll support it.
Okay.
We can vote it up or down.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ostra,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Eggers,
No.
Hamel,
Aye.
Hinn,
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Let's continue this discussion. Moving on to TIF, revisited. Take it away, Sam.
Thank you, Mayor. So regarding my overview, I don't have a whole lot to say other than what I said earlier. Some of you might be wondering why a few of these items are on here. I just put all the TIF items in one place. They came from various agendas, and I know one or two of them we discussed just at the last meeting, but we have several people here that would like to speak on the items, so I think we can hear from them. I do believe there are, at least one that you could move forward on, and we can talk about that when we get to that item. So.
Right. So then, moving on to item, we're ready to move on to B then, you're saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. First of all, we have an update on acquired residential ground, the former Pape land. Tanya's with us today.
All right. Good afternoon, City Council. Tanya Herrera with the SCDC. So I just wanted to provide a quick update before I move forward with the recommendation from the SCDC. We did have a meeting with developers and realtors, and that provided great discussion and input from their professional viewpoints. And they do believe that this project is feasible and sellable with the layout that is provided in your agenda. So you can reference that. So based on that, we would like to move forward with a few recommendations to you. The first one being to rezone the south section, which would be phase 1. If you look at the preliminary plat that is on your agenda, you'll be able to see that the yellow section is phase 1. That is 43 lots, and we would like to rezone that from residential multiple to residential single. The second recommendation that we would like is to proceed with the plating process based there again on the preliminary plating that you have there, acknowledging that this needs to be taken to planning and zoning for review and approval. And then I would also like to review some cost estimates that we do have. So for the full build out, in order to make this land developable and shovel ready for homes to go up, we are looking at just over $9 million. But our ask or recommendation today is to consider bonding for $5,039,089. That would include phase 1, so the 43 lots that we show on there, and that would also include a park and trail on the south edge of the development.
What was the figure that you said, the second one? I got down the total of 9 million. What was the second figure?
So the second figure is $5,039,089.
What'd you budget for the park? Do you know?
The exact cost estimate for the park, based on the layout that we have, should be included in your agenda as well.
Is it perhaps 878,000,
Yep.
give or take?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any questions for Tanya? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Do you have anything else?
No, that is the question.
So if I could briefly hit items 1 through 3 under subpart 2 there. There was the move forward with the rezone, there was the moving forward with the plating process, and there's the review of the cost estimates. So I believe we can move forward with the rezone. You have to remember, though, if you're rezoning just the South 43 proposed lots, there would have to be a legal description. So there'd be a cost to have that legal description put together. If you're going to move forward with the plating process for the middle 31 acres, the same applies. There would be some work with that. The third part I'd like to address at the same time, and that's for the cost estimates. I don't really think you need to spend a lot of time reviewing the cost estimates. You have a ceiling in Amendment number 9 on the urban renewal plan, which is linked to the website. I didn't link it directly to the agenda, but it's easy to find. If you go to sheldoniowa.gov documents, and it's at the bottom under urban renewal, there's Amendment number 9, and Todd and I put $9 million in that, and so you can't go above that, and so somewhere between there and 7 or 5 is your overall number, because you can't go above it unless you amend the urban renewal plan. So I think you can focus on the first 2 pieces if you want. You know, Brad, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but maybe you'd be able to give the council an estimated cost of putting together a legal description so we could do a rezone and a preliminary and final plat. I think for the process for the Planning Commission, I think you could bring forward the preliminary and final at the same time, and then the Planning Commission could decide whether they would like a final separately or not, or if there's changes.
Sure, yeah.
that
So
okay?
don't have anything formal prepared, so this is on the spot, but to get the 43 lots to have a meets and bounds description and plat a survey, would be in the neighborhood of $1,500 plus or minus. And then usually platting is somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 to $300 per lot. Get you the preliminary plat and the final plat all at once, get you a rough idea.
So it'll be about $12,000.
That'd be the high end, I think, on the 300.
Now, these first two parts of the rezone and the platting process, that takes some time. And it's a relatively small cost to proceed with that. But you want to give Planning Commission time to review it so that they don't feel like they're being asked to rubber stamp something. So I guess my recommendation would be to consider moving forward with the rezone and the platting process. If you agree with the general direction, it's coming back to you for ultimately for approval. But this just gives the blessing to move forward.
Should we need a motion on 1 and 2 then?
I have a question, obviously. The south 43 lots, we're going to plot, and then the next middle, we're going to plot, or we're going to do the platting on, but haven't we already kind of laid that out? So I'm just trying to understand the sequence and why we're starting the next one. What's the expectations of that, or just understanding the middle versus the south versus platting?
So maybe Micah or Brad can help me again if Brad comes up.
There'd be two ways to go about that, Jeff. One would be to plat all the lots at once. Overall, that'd be the most efficient way to do things. The downside of that is you lose your flexibility on phases 2 and 3. So a more common approach would be plat the first 43 lots, move forward with phase 1, and then phase 2 would be 1 lot, and phase 3 would be 1 lot. And then after the city sees how the market responds to the lots that are out there, maybe the lots that are a little bigger are selling quicker, the lots that are a little smaller, we have some more flexibility for phase 2 and 3, and then we bring preliminary and final plats back for phase 2 when the time comes, and then phase 3 when that time comes. So
what does the words moving forward mean on zone platting the second phase? I'm sure people are going to ask me that, so I just want to know how to answer that to them.
So my recommendation, if I was in your shoes, I would plat the first 43 lots, and then phase 2 would be 1 large lot, that's lot 44, and phase 3 would be another very large lot, that's lot 45. And then in the future, we would come back with phase 2. I mean, that could be 5 years down the road. And lot 44, which is phase 2, would come back as another 30 lots or whatever it is. Then you guys have flexibility to respond to how the market reacted to the development. So I would not do anything with phase 2 other than get it its own lot number. So when it comes time for phase 2, you don't have another $1,500 bill for another plat and legal description. You can just rezone lot 44. Okay.
So, yeah, historically, if you think back to Skemper, we did replat after replat after replat, probably, what was that, 15 plus years ago? But I agree with the concept of just focus on the first 43 as opposed to map out or plat out the rest, because often it does end up in a redo, and everything you saved on the front, you've spent much more than that to redraw it. So I think what you're talking about, the concept, is the preferred way to go.
Yeah, and Todd's right, it would be a replat. But we also have to be cognizant of you can only split a piece of ground into 2 lots without creating a subdivision. So we're going to need 43 lots plus 2 others as part of a subdivision to comply with state code. Hopefully I'm not confusing things. Short answer is let's leave some flexibility for phase 2 and phase 3. I think we're all saying the same thing there.
That makes, I now understand what you're saying. Thank you.
Yep.
If I might, Mayor?
Yes.
So if I'm understanding if you were up here making a motion, the motion that you'd recommend making would be to move forward with the rezone of the South 43 and move forward with the platting of the South 43, not platting of the entire 34.6, right?
So what I would do is I would replat the entire property, but I would do 43 lots on the south. Phase 2 would be a separate large lot. Phase 3 would be another separate large lot. So you would have a plat come before you with 43 sellable lots. The other lots are sellable, but you're going to need to break them up.
So my understanding is you're actually replotting the whole thing, and lots 43 or 44 and 45 are the middle and the north end.
Yep. So
Okay.
then 5 years down the road or whenever, we would come back with a replat of lot 44, which would be phase 2, and break that into 30 lots or whatever that ends up being.
All right.
So we'd replat the whole thing, but really we're only replatting phase 1 into sellable lots.
So you wouldn't be, when you say north, you mean the north part of the middle. You wouldn't be proposing to plat the north separate piece and the west separate piece, or would you?
They would be large lots, and then we would replat
Okay.
those later.
Got it.
Yeah.
Todd, what are you thinking there?
No, that's fine. Sam's just getting ahead of himself a little bit. With stuff that Brad hasn't had. Yeah, so basically, phase 1 would be on the south. We would plat that into 43 lots, as you see. The red area would be one lot, lot 44, and then the little darker yellow area on the north would be another lot, which is lot 45. And then Todd's comment on the replat is correct. Lot 44 would come back when the time is right to plat that into 25 lots or whatever that's going to be. But then what we have, like Micah mentioned, was we have flexibility. Now, maybe we have a multifamily builder come in that wants 2 acres, or maybe we decide that the market's telling us the lots need to be a little bigger or a little smaller. And then we have flexibility to do some of those things and react without the 12 replats that you mentioned. Already platted.
Any further questions while Brad's up here? In answer to your question earlier, if we needed a motion, yes, we do.
Okay. The other question is this something that, this is for Tanya, is this something the SCDC can work with if we plot it this way? And maybe Barry? Okay. And in order to keep the ball rolling on that housing development, I'll make the motion to plot the 43 lots and then the 2 other sections of 44 and 45.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have support for that?
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Hamel.
Aye.
Ostra.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
I kind of got ahead of myself. I did number 2. I really should have done number 1 first to rezone it from RM to RS.
So, you can make it work.
So I'd entertain that motion to rezone it from RM to RS.
Support.
Okay, yeah. All right. You following here, the rezone also changes from residential multiple to residential single, if I understand that correctly.
Yes.
So we have motion support for that. Any other questions or comments?
So just to clarify, we're rezoning all rezoning 45
40.
lots, not 43. Or not rezoning, but platting 45 lots? Is that what we're,
Yes.
Well, but the rezone would just be
The
Phase
43,
1.
right?
Phase 1, yes.
just the 43 lots.
Yes, as it's stated there.
And that's simply a referral to P and Z at this point.
Okay.
Is there a reason not to have just rezoned the whole thing RS and then come back and take away the RS from the things we?
Yes. There's a reason to not do that.
Maintain flexibility.
Yep.
All right. Roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Ostra.
Aye.
Okay, let's move on to item C, the City Park Master Plan. there anyone here going to be speaking to that? Todd? All right.
Yeah, the Park and Recreation Board is well aware that you are likely to not take action tonight, but they did want to let you know where they stand. So this proposal was brought to you one other time. As you remember, it was to potentially look at replacing Playground Paradise. It was to improve sidewalks and parking and ADA compliance on the west side of the park, and it was also to look at some better park signage in the northwest corner of the park. At that meeting, there was some direction from the council to look further into Playground Paradise condition. Since that time, we have done an inspection on that. The park board has reviewed that inspection, and they believe that the appropriate thing is still to move forward with replacement of Playground Paradise with something. They don't know what yet. That's what this next step would be. So, that's what's in front of you today, is just they're coming back with the recommendation to still move forward with phase one, the Western Park remodel, I guess I'll call it, whenever the council deems it appropriate. That's all I have, unless you have questions.
Isn't it really what they're bringing the recommendation is to spend money with Beck to come back with what that next phase could look like?
Yeah, so that's the phase one plan that's attached in here, is to move, that's the next step, is to actually evaluate playgrounds. There's public meetings in there, there's meetings with the school district kids, because that's all feedback that we got from here. And Mike Cedar from BEI is more than willing to come discuss that with you at some point. I actually told him not to come tonight because I assumed there would be just a small discussion, and I didn't think it was worthy of him having to drive up today. So, but if you want him here sometime, he's more than willing to come discuss that with you. They assumed, the Park and Rec Board assumed you'd want to know where TIF landed before you said yay or nay. But they didn't want to leave it in their court. They thought it was better to get it here.
So Todd, other than this proposal, as it's been presented to the council, has there been any other public review of this proposal since the board has now come back with?
No, but that proposal has multiple public meetings in it to get feedback on what to put there. And the BEI team, if we accept the proposal, will help lead us through there, along with lead us through looking at a multitude of playground suppliers and options before we got to the public meetings and or the schools.
So there's opportunity for the plan to mold itself as it goes through the process?
I would say yes.
With public input?
Yes.
Thanks.
Is fundraising a discussion at all?
Not yet, because what would we fundraise for, Greg?
I mean, but is that a possibility? I mean, do we try to raise funds for it rather than
I don't.
the last time, I mean, with Playground Paradise there was a significant fundraising that was done, and people created buy-in in the process, in my mind.
I'm not going to say yes or no to that. I mean, I'm not going to commit the park board to go out there and knock on doors.
No,
just yet,
no.
right? That's something they'll need to do.
It would have to be.
But is there a public, could there be? Yeah, sure. Will there be? I guess that's to be determined on conversation.
If somebody steps up and.
Yeah. But again, I think we have to get to know what our project is before you can fundraise for it. This proposal helps us get to what our project is.
I question whether or not, if we don't know what we've had to spend, how does Beck come back with recommendations on what we can do if we don't know what the budget is to do it, and we don't know that until we know where we're at with our TIF? Or do we just figure out we're going to find the money when we get to that point?
If you handicap them with a number before you even get started, then I think your opportunity for public input is also limited. I think you need to, just like when we built the pool, you need to allow the process to happen. I think you need to, this is just my opinion, you need to allow them to get to what they think they want and or need. And then we need to decide if that is a reasonable project at a reasonable cost.
And if it's not, then we'll have to go back to the drawing board and make some changes to what we have. But if you simply start with, it's a number X, well, then you'll have some upset because we're going to spend the full amount of X. There'll be that assumption by some, and others will be, you handicapped us to not even look at what we actually think we need. That's just my take on the process.
That makes sense. I think we need to have somewhat of an idea of what number we need to come up with and how we're going to get to that, whether it's fundraising or a combination of fundraising and city-supported dollars, taxpayer-supported dollars, whatever the case may be. But I think that's probably the better way to go. So,
Okay, anything else for me?
no, not at this point.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Children's World update. Anybody here from Children's World? Hmm?
Yes.
I don't think so. Do you have anything regarding Children's World?
Chantel, can you help me out with this one? So I'll start if
Yeah,
you want to
go ahead.
finish. So Chantel and I had an excellent meeting with Children's World recently, and there was, if you remember, there was some discussion on the supplemental infant enrollment report and whether we would release the unspent portion of the rate buy down. And that those funds have been released because the way the agreement was written, they've hit their 28 infants. The agreement was, shouldn't have said that way. You don't. They've hit the ceiling on their. They're at the ceiling on their 28 infants. That came out really bad, didn't it? And they're at their ceiling, and that money has been released. We intentionally drafted that agreement to be very simple without proration or any of that. So there's a line in the agreement that allows them to use the unspent funds. If somebody brought in their child, their baby in December, the amount between December and this past July 1, that can be spent on other purposes. There's a line right in the agreement that allows that. So that money has been released. I don't remember if that's on this bill list or if it's already done, but we are now discussing whether we proceed with drafting a new rate buy down agreement, and I believe we can. I have been wrong before on this legislation, but I believe we can. The final enrolled bill is out. You could proceed with authorizing the drafting of a new agreement, or you could wait. There's time. Either way.
What are the wishes of the council?
So here I'm gonna speak to the program as we experienced it through the pilot. And I would say that from what we experienced, I would like to be able to see if there's other options that makes more sense financially and provide a more equitable distribution of those funds across the need of childcare in the city. I think targeting just the infants at this point, as the pilot program was based upon, limits the overall growth needed in the city for childcare. And I'd rather see us put our money towards options that yet we have not heard on how to do that. So I would be more in favor of waiting and working towards discussion on other available options.
And those are some thoughts that I had as well, Tom, and I'm kind of running different scenarios. Not ready to present to anybody yet. I ran a couple past Sam. We haven't met formally on it. I did also mention something similar to the board, and they were open to another idea, not going with the exact layout of the program as we had it for this past fiscal year. So I'm okay tabling it for right now and working through some of those details.
And I'd be happy to participate if that's what's required.
That'd be great.
You know, this is kind of a big issue. Precedent setting, we've got an issue where we have to decide whether we're going to use city fund, taxpayer funds to pay for residents that don't live outside the community, needs-based. I would really recommend that some of this conversation take place at a council meeting, because I think that this is a big issue in a precedent setting. So I hope we have some discussion beyond just bringing back a proposal on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I have different ideas. I wouldn't want to bring one.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on this matter? So your recommendation is to table it then, unless anyone has a strong objection to that?
I would say until we have their outline
Okay.
of what the item will look like.
No, okay, let's table that one then until further information. All right, next item up, Crossroads Pavilion request. Oh, I didn't even see you sitting back there. Hi.
Welcome. Hello, thank you. I think you all received my memo. What were you saying, Justin? Okay. Got it. Our memo is just a little history, a little bullet point on the back page. We have a little bit of a change. We had originally asked for $150,000 to build a storage unit, and we paused that last year to come back and go back to the table, look again, and hire an engineer to help us determine where is the best place, can we add on, et cetera. So our board did due diligence by hiring Beck Engineering, coming in, assessing, going over some of the problems that we have, and then looking at the grounds to see what was best. The results were price shock to the size. So after we talked about the different scenarios of location and sizes and reducing the size, the Crossroads Pavilion Board decided to go back to the original quote that we had received and the board had approved back in June to present to you, the council. And that was for a local contractor constructing a storage unit for around $151,000 and change. So we would like to go back to that. So in the fiscal year of 2026-27, we bumped it to $400,000 because it was a shot in the dark, not knowing where these estimates were going to come from Beck for storage. Well, they came back a lot more than that, and it didn't include parking. So for the time being, our board would like to continue to request the $151,000 for storage. 100 of that was going to be through the city and the balance through our Pavilion Capital Fund account. As for the remainder, 300,000 that was proposed for the next year fiscal budget, I would love to use that for parking, but that's not a priority. I do think storage is important for us. Our building is not good, our equipment is not good, and our staff is not always the safest with having to put things in and out. So if you want to consider that request when the time comes and you know what we can and can't do, and if it fits within the city budget, we would love you. If there are other priorities, we understand, but we will keep coming back to request an additional structure for storage, and I can only assume those prices will go up. The parking lot addition can wait. We have a beautiful grassy knoll to the west that we can utilize that. So, any questions?
Yeah, has the board put together any kind of rendering of what this $151,000 building looks like.
Yes, and I would definitely email that to you if you'd like to see that.
Yeah, I think would be good, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think there's some concern,
Mhm.
and I'll say it from my perspective anyway,
Sure.
that whatever we build needs to complement what we already have there.
And
So,
this rendering would show you that.
yeah, that's what we need.
The contractor that they had approved last year, the exterior would look identical to what we have, as identical as it can, because some of the brick colors have changed. You know, you can't always get the same color brick.
Right.
And the inside would just be for storage, so it would have
Right.
electrical, but no plumbing, and mini split for heating, just for temperature control.
And remind me again, where's the location of this
We
building?
were considering the east side, but we could do east or west.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'd suggest that you send that rendering, if you haven't already, to the rest of the board.
Sure, I would.
Or council, please.
Yes,
And
most
mayor.
definitely I can do that. Thank you for the request.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That 151,000 is still a good number, or it's going
So
up?
in talking with that contractor, they said some prices have gone up, such as overhead doors and concrete, and he would gladly give us updated prices on that, but didn't want to do too much work until we knew this could be a possibility, because a lot of work was put into that last year. And we did decide to hold off just to work through it, and that was understandable. But they are willing to do the work, and he would provide those estimated material costs and estimate to us. He was guessing around, it could be about a 10% increase,
Okay.
but not solid. He would have to double check.
And state your request one more time, please.
So right now, it would be the original request that we approved last year in June, and that was with Sawyer Construction. It was around an 1,100 square foot building for $151,000, $151,643, $623. Thank you.
Okay.
So if that's something we do want to move on, I could get better numbers, but again, I know that you all are waiting to see where TIF comes in and where other priorities fall into place. But we hope we're somewhere in that list just for safety reason with our staff.
Okay.
Climate controlled, yes, yeah, yes. We would not have a whole HVAC system, but we would have it climate controlled for our equipment.
Okay. Any further questions?
All right, thank you for your time. If you do have questions after, you know where to find me.
All right, thanks, Tricia. All right, final item then is the hearing for Beck Engineering tip incentive for the SEDC.
Is it a promotion to set that date?
Well, we'll let Tanya here. If you have any comment, let her address us a minute.
No additional comments. I was just going to recap the introduction that we did on May 6th of the TIF application that was submitted by Beck, and Brad is here too for questions. So I was just coming up really to stand for questions.
Okay. All right, so are there any further questions regarding this proposal? Okay, then Jeff, state your motion again.
I make a motion to set that date for the hearing.
June 3? Okay. We have a motion to set the hearing for June 3rd. We have support for that?
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Wagner.
Aye.
Ostrov.
Aye.
Himmel.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
All right, carries. Moving on then, item G is a resolution approving the agreement with Rides for fiscal year 27. Any comments?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. So this item and the next item, if I could just talk about them both at once because they're in the same boat. Normally, these are approved the same time as the local option sales tax agreements that were all approved under consent. I got cold feet on that because of the legislative issues. Rides needs it's an annual agreement, and I didn't run that up any flagpole. It's just the same with attorneys or anything. It's the same agreement as before. It's just an annual agreement. And then you have the the economic development agreement, that is an old agreement, goes back to 2003. The agreement is in place, it's just the funding source. We use TIF. So you can continue them or you can wait. Both items are budgeted for the next fiscal year, and we can't spend the money until July anyway. So
I'd make a motion to approve. I'd make a motion to approve both of them. I think the rides is a critical part of our community. Knowing how many employees ride that thing and the village being here, I don't know how we survive as a community without rides. So if that provides service. And economic development, that's a small amount to participate in. So I'd make a motion to approve both of those.
Support.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Kent.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Ostra.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
All right, then let's move on to the new business. Item A is the public hearing for the budget amendment for fiscal year 2025, 2026. Anyone wish to speak to that issue? Please step forward. Any written comments?
None.
Then we need a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Hamel.
Aye.
Ostra. Wagner. Kent.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Okay. Then we have consideration of the budget amendment. You want to talk about that at all? Just needs to be approved, all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we need approval for that amendment.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
Thank you. Do we have support?
Support.
Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Ostra.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Kent.
Aye.
Item B, introduction and set the hearing for potential city revenue waiver for Trilogy Lot. Comment?
You go ahead.
I feel like I'm taking over. So I want to request a waiver for the payback that SCDC owes to the city. If we are to sell a lot to Posties, the waiver amount would be for $7,216 with 80 cents. So the project would be a triplex, which would provide a new housing opportunity, and that aligns with our strategic objectives that were voted on by both the City of Sheldon and the SCDC. Our purchase agreement, so the sale of the lot is contingent on the waiver and then also on submission and review for approval of the plans for construction. So when those are ready, we would happily share those as well. And you do have a memo included in your agenda that further explains the project and our purchase agreement.
Questions for Tanya? I have one, Tanya. The minimum assessment of $375,000, is that for the triplex in total or per unit?
So that is for the triplex and total 125 per unit per the covenants for the trilogy.
Okay. I suspected as much, but I was hoping it was more. Any other questions?
So is it basically there's a time frame for this to be executed, to construction to start?
Yes, and that is based on the discussion that we had with Posties and with Corey, who was here today. The plans is for construction to start no later than spring of 2027.
Okay. At this point, we're going to discuss it again at the hearing anyway, so I would make a motion that we set the hearing for June 3rd.
Okay.
Support.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Kent.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Ostra.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
All right. Larry is with us today discussing insurance renewals. Got good news?
Yeah. Larry Smith from Perspective Insurance, thank you for having me. Couple attachments in your packets, I think first one being the health insurance renewal. We've seen this program work pretty well over the past few years. If you look at the overall rate increases, believe, if you compare that to the private sector, we're going to say that a couple times here coming up. These rates are pretty solid in their increases over the past few years. So you're seeing some increase, but most of that is due to increased employee participation or increased employees. But overall, the rate per person or per family, we're looking basically at about 3%. And that number is estimated based on you're partially funded, self-funded, and so you pay a portion of the claims, so that number is always estimated. We try to estimate that on the high side. I don't ever want to come and be short on that number. So yeah, we have to estimate it at 70,000. You can see 2 years ago that number was at just shy of 49,000. And we looked at that number here for recently, and it's probably going to come in close to that same number again. So we're estimating that on the high side. So overall, yeah, those rates look pretty good.
Can you clarify that 70,000, or is the city paying that 70,000 copay, or is that the employees?
So the city's plan is a high deductible health plan. Okay, $8,300 deductible per person, $16,600 per family. The employee pays the first $4,500 per person of that deductible, $45 per person, $9 per family. The city then pays the difference between $45 and the $83 that Walmart has for deductible. Okay, so some people may get to that $4,500, some employees don't. So that $49,000 that you're looking at, if you look back to 24, 25, that is the amount that the city paid for employees between that $4,500 and $8,300 deductible. So that is called a buy down. So the city is buying the deductible down for the employees from $8,300 to $45,000.
But we're funding the full 83, or what are we funding of that 45 buy down?
What?
Ask that question again, Sam.
I'm just slightly confused on we're contributing to the savings account, health savings account.
That's
That's
different.
completely
than
separate. Okay, so the deductible, in a sense, if we went to Wellmark and we said, we want to buy a $4,500 deductible for our employees, we could probably take these numbers and take them times 1.3 or 1.4 in our costs. So a cost-saving mechanism that the city is using is we buy from Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield a $8,300 deductible, but we only allow the employee to stand the first $4,500. Okay, so when an employee gets to that $4,500, Wellmark's still paying the claims. The employee is still paying the claims. But we have a company that Oxyant that looks at those claims and pays that employee back after they hit to $4,500. That gets billed back to the city. That's that $4,900. The HSA savings is a whole different set of dollars. That goes into a savings account for the employee to help them fund their out-of-pocket costs, whether that's their health deductible, whether that's dental, whether that's vision, whether those types of expenses. Does that help?
I'm sure everybody asked a million questions about this, so
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah,
Any other questions for Larry?
on health.
What?
I said on the health portion.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Also enclosed in your packet is a summary of the property and casualty renewal. Again, those numbers are very good here for the 26, 27 fiscal year. The rates are actually flat. Any increase we have here, and you'll see at the bottom, is due to exposure increases. So I tried to break them out a little bit. You'll see that the property, it says property/exposure changes. That simply is the increase in building coverage and the increase in auto coverages. Those two alone created about 2.2% of the increase that you see on the ICAP portion. The other exposure increases accounted to 2.9. See on there, there's an asterisk, and if they're up above there on the general liability, there's an asterisk. When I was reviewing that, I came across some numbers that were maybe moved from one line to another and not recorded in the right section, and it caused them to have a pretty healthy increase, as you can see, from about 39,000 to 45 in that area. Pretty confident I've got that corrected. They did not have those numbers back to me today before that meeting. They expected it would probably be later this week or early next week, but very confident that at least that $6,000 there will go away. And then on the work comp, a little bit of increase just mainly due to payroll increases and a little bit of mod factor increase, which basically is claim scenarios. You're still at a mod factor of 0.66, which is a phenomenal number. So overall, these rates are very good. We were fortunate, and we just added a fire truck here on May 1. ICAP, when they set their rates, and they give you the renewal, or if you added a fire truck on July 2, they don't charge for that for the whole year. So you make a change throughout the year, they don't charge for that until the whole next year. Well, we just added that truck on May 1. They're already working on the renewal. They didn't catch that. That truck is insured for the next year, no charge policy. So some big savings there. It's just the principal way they do business. And so that's a big plus. We'll take the winnings. So, yeah, spent some time with Todd and Angie and Sam. We've looked this over. We have a few other things we're still reviewing, but overall rates are solid. So,
Is that typical for the industry, or is this atypical in our situation?
Insurance rates have stabilized. You know, you're part of a pool rather than insurance. So the ICAP was Iowa Community Assurances Pool. The benefit is they're not an insurance company, okay? You're pooling your money with all the other cities. It's managed by city managers, by county supervisors, and they oversee the program. So those costs are maintained fairly well.
So since they only hit us once a year, if we had a fire truck on July 2nd, does that mean we can't change our insurance valuations on different vehicles throughout the year either, or can we still go back if we decide that?
Yeah, no, now is the time to do that. That's correct.
Okay.
So we have another month before we.
Because at this present, we're insuring everything for replacement value, even if it's a 19-year-old vehicle, we
No.
get the full thing paid, or how do we?
No, back to what I said earlier, the fire trucks, ambulances are and
Right, but I'm just asking on that.
yeah, so currently those are insured for replacement cost, along with some equipment, motor graders, a few of those things are insured for replacement cost.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, so you could insure those for actual cash value, less premiums. Obviously, loss replacement, they'll buy you a new one versus being paid for a used one at that point. So there's ups and downs both ways. One way you save some premium. The other day, when you have a loss, you have more to assume when you're in.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Larry. All right, discussion and direction. Anything
you need at this point from us?
Now we're within our budget, and so unless you want to deviate from or make a change from that, no further action is needed. This has been a courtesy report the last several years, so.
Anyone wishing to speak to that at all? Hold the course. Seeing some nods. Not hearing anything else, so we'll stay the course. All right, let's move on to item D, first reading the ordinance amendment regarding water. Todd, you have an update for us.
Yeah, I mean, the increase is the same as that was proposed in the budget. It's just the ordinance ratifying that. So on the water side of things, as you may recall, it's an average of a 6% increase across all rate levels. It's we had a declining block rate structure that, remember, we're getting rid of. We decided to phase that out over 5 years so that it wasn't such a hit at one time. This is the fourth of those 5 years. Cash balances in water right now are down. That was anticipated. That's how it works. We had a couple of very large cash expenditures that brought the balances down, but they will come back. Stand for questions.
Anyone? Okay. No questions, Todd, so thank you. Are there any comments from the public regarding this ordinance amendment? Wait, is this a public hearing?
Can be,
Okay.
done it that way.
I would like to open that as a public hearing now, then, if there are any comments. No written ones either?
No.
Motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Hager,
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Ostra, Wagner, Hint.
Aye.
All right, then we have the first reading. Do we want to move this on? Approve it, move it on?
Make the motion to approve the first reading.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Hint.
Aye.
Eggers,
Aye.
Hamel,
Aye.
Ostra, Wagner.
All right. The second reading will be
June 30.
June 3. So the second reading will be in June 3. Okay, same song, second verse, Todd, sewer.
Yeah, so the sewer increase is an average of a 4% increase across this rate structure. Sewer did not have a declining block. It's always been a flat block. Cash balances in sewer are quite healthy right now, but we do have a couple of large expenditures, cash expenditures coming up, so their balances will drop at that time. Just as a recollection, this was a cost of service study that we did. So there are some high-end users on the sewer side where the cost went up substantially more than it did for just a standard home. And the last thing would be, as you remember, there was a declining rate in there for the multiple units on 1 meter. So an example would be you have a 15-plex apartment. We were charging a flat rate per. We still are, but we're reducing that amount because through our study, we realized that we were overcharging that class of user. So that is getting repaired over the same 5-year time frame. So, nobody's asked, but I'll just tell you, if an average household, if you approve these two ordinances as proposed, can anticipate around a $4.40 increase on water and sewer rates before tax.
Monthly?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have unless you have questions.
Okay, thank you. Any public comments, the public hearing regarding the sewer rates? Anyone wishing to address council regarding that? I'm assuming no written either.
Correct.
Motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Hamel,
Aye.
Eggers,
Aye.
Hint,
Aye.
Ostra, Wagner.
All right, then the motion to approve the first reading, move that also on to June 3rd.
I make a motion just to skip the second and third of both of those and just be done with it.
I would prefer to rather have the public have some input if they want to have input
We've
on a
already
rate increase. That's
approved the
fine.
first on the water, so
Yeah.
it's a little late. So is somebody making a
I
motion?
will make a motion to.
Okay, we have support.
What was the motion? I'm sorry.
Motion was
Approve for first
approve
reading.
first reading and move it on to a second reading in June 3.
I'll support that.
All right. Roll call, please.
Kent,
Aye.
Eggers,
Aye.
Hamel,
Aye.
Ostra,
Aye.
Wagner.
All right, moving on then to reports. Sam, anything from you regarding your report other than your evaluation? No, sir, did you say? Okay, Todd, anything further from you?
Thank you.
Chief? No.
Part of the lesson.
You just got promoted.
I got your name in there.
Tanya, anything further from you? All right. Nicole, are you, yeah, Nicole, anything from you? No, okay. Andy,
No, nothing.
Alyssa?
Micah,
No, thank you.
council to my left?
Nope.
To my right? I have nothing further either, so we can then move on into Sam's evaluation. And we have, we have a structure for that. Brandy will start. Oh, that's right. Yes, we did move into closed, we did motion to move into closed session for a few minutes here. Someone from here.
I will make a motion to move into closed session.
Yes.
Everybody here.
The advice of counsel, I would like to defer to his.
Take a recess.
Okay. We're going to take a brief recess. Pardon me? Okay.
Take a drink break.
No.
No, we're in
Recess.
recess at the moment.
Yeah.
Pardon me? Okay.
North side of town, but not on the same street.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Seems slim.
Yeah, I thought Mike Pepper with a building permit. Whoa, Mike Pepper.
Same, another guy with.
Another guy?
Mike died a number
Yeah,
of
he
years
is.
ago.
What?
I have been regretting
As am I. Couldn't eat today. Great.
so far. It's been better than I expected.
So Sam, that interview about being the big chief now? Right. Right.
Sorry, that's why I'm just like,
What's
no,
Alyssa?
no.
What is she doing? Cole? It's Alyssa, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're thinking of the big wheel, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's my back?
Yeah. We actually thought we were matching today.
She did not claim to be hired.
Oh, yeah. I almost put my name in.
So we I need a motion. We're going to go into closed session. I
We
need
already
mo-
have a
Oh,
motion.
we had the
and a
motion.
second,
Support.
but
Okay,
yeah,
Wow.
all right.
5:54.
We're missing Tom right now.
Restroom.
What?
Didn't have timeout, restroom.
Tom's taking the restroom break. We're still in recess.
Okay, then I'm not gonna.
Restroom is the time for recess.
Just like in school,
That's what they do in school.
use the bathroom before you go out the playground.
Okay. Back in.
All right, Tom, we have a motion to go into closed session, which is what we're going to do
Thank you.
pending roll call.
Hint,
Aye.
Eggers,
Aye.
Hamel,
Aye.
Ostra, Wagner,
All right, so what I would ask is all of you to vacate the room, please, other than council and Brandy. And Mike.